Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal is arriving home this evening, wrapping up his 4-day state visit to India. Premier Dahal has called his India visit a complete success, as he said that he held the national interest supreme while discussing the bilateral issues with the Indian side. Prime Minister Dahal has also stated that discussions have also begun on alternatives for resolving the boundary issue with the southern neighbor, mainly the dispute in Kalapani. Good evening, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal arriving home this evening, wrapping up his 4-day India visit. Premier Dahal dubs his India visit as fully successful, hails agreements struck in energy sector as historic. The Home Ministry directs all 77 district administrations to distribute citizenship certificates as per the amended Act. A few chief district officers confused of the directive received from SMS. United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, speaking at the Shangri-La Dialogue, warns Washington won't stand for China bullying US allies, says talks are key to avoiding conflict. And Manchester City to clash against Manchester United in the FA Cup final tonight. Match scheduled to kick off at 7:45 p.m. Nepal time at Wembley Stadium. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal is arriving in Kathmandu shortly on a regular flight of Nepal Airlines from New Delhi after wrapping up his 4-day visit to India. Prime Minister Dahal has termed his 4-day India visit fully successful while saying that the trip this time has helped in adding newer dimensions in Nepal's economic prosperity and development process. Speaking to Nepali journalists in Indore today, Prime Minister Dahal dubbed the agreements reached with India as significant, as he said that he held the national interest supreme while discussing the bilateral issues with the Indian side. Premier Dahal viewed that the agreement struck in the energy sector will help rope in massive investment for energy development in the coming years. Apart from striking 7 different agreements, Prime Minister Dahal has also called on Indian President Draupadi Murmu among other top Indian leaders during his visit to India. On the 3rd day of his visit to India, Prime Minister Dahal reached Indore in Madhya Pradesh yesterday. He flew to New Delhi from Indore early today and departed from there this afternoon. Premier Dahal is scheduled to arrive at the Tribhuvan International Airport shortly. Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba has announced of handing over the party leadership to the younger generation. Inaugurating the first district assembly of the party's district working committee of Lalitpur, President Deuba clarified that this would be his last term. He recalled his contributions in strengthening the party and said that he would now only lend his support. Deuba claimed that his leadership strengthened the party and its sister organizations. He went on to say that internal conflicts would weaken the party and directed all the leaders and cadres to work together. The Ministry of Home Affairs has directed all the 77 district administration offices to provide citizenship certificates according to the amended Citizenship Act. However, a number of chief district officers have said that the ministry must issue a notice regarding the same. The Ministry of Home Affairs has indicated that the new act has been implemented since the amendment of the Citizenship Act was made public on Wednesday. The spokesperson of the ministry, Jitendra Bosnit, said that citizenships will be provided according to the amended act from tomorrow. The ministry had directed all the district administration offices through text messages yesterday to provide the citizenship certificates according to the amended act. According to the ministry, children of those born before 20th of September 2015 and had acquired a naturalized citizenship can get their citizenship certificate from tomorrow. Meanwhile, a regulation is required to provide citizenship to non-resident Nepalese and children whose fathers have not been identified. According to the Citizenship Act, a non-identification of father must be self-declared. The self-declaration form is issued under regulation, therefore such citizenship certificates will not be provided immediately. Chief District Officer of Thanusha, Kashiraj Dahal said that the Home Ministry must clarify the amended act before implementing it. He said that he had urged the authority to issue a notice describing the procedure that should be followed from now onwards. Meanwhile, the officials of the ministry say that it is unnecessary to clarify about the issue that has been released in the National Gazette. District Administrative Officer of Jhapa, Shivaram Pokhrel, has said that citizenship certificates can be issued according to the amended act. However, he said that the regulation must be clear. President Ramchandra Paudel certified the Citizenship Act, which had remained subdued despite being passed by the previous parliament. However, a writ has been filed at the Supreme Court against the certification of the bill. Hearing on the Fakebhutanese refugee case is scheduled to begin from tomorrow at Kathmandu District Court. The hearing has been scheduled to begin from tomorrow as gathering statements of 18 individuals that have been arrested for their involvement in the case concluded yesterday. Decisions will be made regarding if those arrested on the case, which is under the single bench of Justice Prem Prasad Neupane of Kathmandu District Court, will be remanded after the hearing. Former Minister for Home Affairs Balkrishna Khard and Bhutanese refugee leader Teknath Rijal had given their statements yesterday. The Office of the District Attorney Kathmandu had filed the case on 24th of May alleging 30 individuals of 5 different crimes and had claimed 295 million rupees. Majority of the arrestees have claimed that they are innocent in their statements. Meanwhile, police say that they have enough evidence, including complaints of victims, artificial report prepared by the working committee that was formed by the Ministry of Home Affairs to address the issue of Bhutanese refugees, and bank transactions carried out by perpetrators that have already been arrested. The corruption watchdog CIAA has been recommended to take action against former Home Minister Balkrishna Khard, former Deputy Prime Minister Top Bahadur Rai Majhi and Indrajit Rai, the security advisor of former Home Minister Ram Bahadur Thapa. Such a case has been filed against the political and administrative leadership of the Ministry of Home Affairs for the first time. There is general concern if the court will give a verdict to jail those that have been arrested or not. 62% of medical students have failed the license examination conducted by the Nepal Medical Council. Registrar of the Medical Council, Krishna Prasad Adhikari, said that only 656 out of 1,709 students of MBBS and BDS passed the examination that was conducted from last Wednesday till yesterday. 558 out of 1,378 students of MBBS passed the examination, which is only 40.49%. Likewise, 98 out of 331 students of BDS passed the examination, which is merely 29%. Registrar Adhikari attributed the high number of failing students to weak medical education curriculum. The Department of Foreign Employment, which was located at Buddhanagar in Kathmandu, will now be relocated to Tachal. According to the department, work will be done partially from tomorrow and completely from 16th of June from Tachal. The Office of Foreign Employment and the Department for Foreign Employment will jointly provide services from the same premises in Tachal. The relocation of the department has reduced a monthly rent of 571,000 rupees from the state coffers. The Ministry of Labour had decided to relocate the department 3 months ago to reduce expenses. Filing of grievances, complaints and cases will begin from Tachal from tomorrow. The department has further added that works of monitoring will also be done from the new building. 17 more communities have been identified through the recent population census, while the number of languages have reached 124. Based on the census report released by the National Statistics Office yesterday, the recent population census carried out in 2021 has identified the total number of communities in the country at 142, which in the previous census was 125. The office has said it released the report with careful considerations to requests made by various community-based organizations. The overall national census report was released 2 months ago. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: why have irregularities intensified in the cooperative sector? Your options are A, absence of monitoring, B, managerial lapses, and C, lack of awareness. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. United States Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin today said he was deeply concerned by China's unwillingness to engage on military crisis management, warning that talks are key to avoiding conflict. The relationship between the United States and China is at its lowest point in decades, as they remain deeply divided over everything from the sovereignty of Taiwan to espionage and territorial disputes in the South China Sea. Speaking at the Shangri-La Dialogue, Asia's top security summit, Austin warned that Washington would not stand for China bullying U.S. allies, adding that open lines of communication between U.S. and Chinese defense and military leaders were essential to avoid conflict and bolster stability in the Asia-Pacific. China's Minister of National Defense, Li Shangfu, had this week declined an invitation to meet Austin at the security summit. Li, a general who has been sanctioned by the U.S., will deliver his own speech tomorrow. The Pentagon said the two shook hands on the sidelines of the conference, but did not hold detailed talks yesterday. Liu Pengyu, spokesperson at the Chinese embassy in Washington yesterday, said in an emailed statement that communication between China and the U.S. was conducive to a greater mutual understanding. China's Minister of National Defense, Li Shangfu, had this week declined an invitation to meet Austin at the summit. The death toll from Odisha train accident in India has now crossed 288, while 850 are injured as multiple trains collided in the eastern India state. Odisha's Chief Secretary Pradeep Jena said more than 200 ambulances were sent to the scene in Balasore district. One passenger train is thought to have derailed before being struck by another on the adjacent train track late yesterday. It is India's worst train crash this century. Officials say the death toll is expected to rise further. Indian Railways said the two services involved were the Coromandel Express and the Howrah Superfast Express. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he was distressed by the incident and his thoughts were with the bereaved families. Meanwhile, Home Minister Amit Shah labelled the incident deeply agonizing. One male survivor said that 10 to 15 people had fallen on him when the accident happened and everything went haywire. He was at the bottom of the pile. A day of mourning has been announced in the state. It is believed that several carriages from the Shalimar-Chennai Coromandel Express derailed at about 7 p.m. local time, with some of them ending up on the opposite track. Another train, the Howrah Superfast Express, travelling from Yeshwantpur to Howrah, is then thought to have hit the overturned carriages. Indian officials said that a goods train, which was stationary at the site, was also involved in the incident. India's worst train disaster was in 1981 when an overcrowded passenger train was blown off the tracks and into a river during a cyclone in Bihar state, killing at least 800 people. Time now for sports update.
Sports news.
Nepal suffered a 4-wicket loss to Malaysia in the fourth match of the 5-match Women's T20 International Series today. Following the loss, the series is now tied at 2-all with one more match to be played. In the match played at the UKM YST ground in Bangi, Selangor today, Nepal elected to bat first after winning the toss and posted a below-par total of 96 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. Nepal didn't have a sound start to their innings as they lost 3 quick wickets with the addition of only 13 runs on the board. Nepal tried to rebuild the innings with Rubina Chetri and Indu Varma. However, Rubina also departed without troubling the score. Indu Verma top scored for Nepal with 32 runs. Indu was well supported by Bindu Raul, who scored 24 runs before she was run out in the last delivery of the innings. Kavita Kunwar remained unbeaten on 12 runs. Winifred Ann was the most successful bowler for Malaysia with 3 wickets. Chasing a victory target of 97 runs, Malaysia romped home by losing 6 wickets. Malaysia lost an early wicket in the very first over and lost their second wicket when the 29 runs were on the board in 5.4 overs. However, Winifred Ann and Elisa Yasmin consolidated the Malaysian innings with a mini third wicket partnership of 35 runs. Winifred struck another valuable partnership with Mahira Izzat to further consolidate the Malaysian innings. Malaysia lost 3 wickets to be reduced to 66 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. That's all for the moment. Our next English bulletin will be at 10:30 tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.